Hey guys, it's Britt. Today we're here to react to a video from the one and only Without a Crystal Ball. I haven't talked about her in a little while, and I was sent this video and asked to react to it. So ask and you shall usually receive. If you're interested, please keep watching. Alright, you guys, so as most of you know, I don't cover Without a Crystal Ball like I used to, just because it became the same old song and dance with her, and there's only so many times you can say the same things without it becoming obnoxious. So, if you still consume a lot of her content, that's totally fine. You're more than welcome on my channel. If you are a supporter of hers, or maybe you're just someone who checks in once in a while, I'm not here to tell anyone to not watch her or anything like that, but I do think that her history speaks for itself as far as her being a trusted source and a making a positive impact on this platform as well as others. The title of this video is Without a Crystal Ball, Deleted IG Live February 4th, and it's on a channel called All Things Sassy. So I will link it down below, but that's the video we're going to be reacting to. So I don't know anything about this channel. I don't know if they cover Without a Crystal Ball. Let me take a look. Yeah, it looks like they talk about Katie a fair amount. So I don't know this person. I don't know anything about them, but let's look at this video. I'm going to speed it up to 1.5 times speed just because Katie talks a little slow and I talk a little slow too. It's funny because when I review my own videos for YouTube, I actually speed my own videos up. So anytime someone tells me that they have to speed my video up, I don't take that as an insult. I do it myself. So just FYI, this video is sped up just a little bit.
It just bothers me so much.
So it seems like she's upset by something. I have no idea what she's talking about. There were 428 people in her IG Live when this was happening. So people are coming in, sending hearts, saying, I just came on, what's wrong? You made me cry. Let's see what's going on.
The system is so broken. Oh, I'm sure, Maria, you know what I'm talking about. I know. Like, these kids with autism are the sweetest children you'll ever meet. Like, I hate how society acts like they're, like, horrible and they're mean and they're cruel and, like, they're not affectionate. The biggest stereotype about these kids is that they don't know how to have relationships and they don't know how to attach and they don't know how to be affectionate, and that's not true.
Now, keep in mind, during this video, I don't have anyone in my direct family that has autism. I am familiar with some of the stereotypes that can be placed on people with autism, and I will never agree with any of that. Now, if I remember correctly, she has said how her son doesn't like to be, physically shown affection. Maybe that has changed over time. I'm not sure. None of us live in the house with her. But the thing that I will say right away is the amount of time, and this is something that I've seen from the get-go, the question that I've had for such a long time with her is the amount of time that she spends with her head in her phone and on video and on the computer, on Twitter, all the different platforms that she's very active on every hour of the day. I've never understood how she could fully be there for her son, and that is something that I always found concerning, just because, all kids need their parents present, and this is something that I talk about too when it comes to a lot of the family vloggers. They will sit there and vlog their day, exploit their child, and then they're sitting on their phone because they're constantly on Instagram. They're constantly replying to YouTube comments. They're active on other apps like Twitter and TikTok. So what kids really crave is device-free time. That's when a child feels like they have your undivided attention. Now, obviously, we didn't have smartphones and stuff when I was growing up, but I remember being a young girl and we would do things that did not involve the TV. So we would go outside and play, or one of my dad's favorite things to do with me as a young girl was we would just sit in the living room on the floor and we would listen to albums. So we weren't watching TV. And I guess, a record player could be seen as a device, but it wasn't distracting his attention from me the way that a TV would. Or, a handheld game. Like I had a handheld Sega that I would play once in a while as a kid. Having that device-free time with your child is really important, and something that I've always noticed is based on what we see ourselves from without a crystal ball, I really don't see how she can devote that much time to being device free around her child, and that's something that all kids crave. And I would say her son more so, because he is different, so he needs a different he just needs a little bit of a different type of attention than maybe another kid would. Like all kids are different, but with the amount of time that I can only imagine her screen time from her iPhone. I would hate to see those numbers.
Like my son is so affectionate. He is like so hands-on and always wants hugs and always wants kisses, and he's not like, he craves emotional connection. Like
So he craves emotional connection from a mother who is constantly on her phone, constantly sitting on YouTube, constantly filming, constantly fighting with people on Twitter, constantly deleting comments so that her channel is an echo chamber. That sounds to me like that's something that you need to revisit and fix quickly.
I think that these kids just don't. Hey, Terry, how about you just keep your opinions to yourself?
So the comment that set her off is, I'm sorry it is hurtful, but don't throw an entire profession under the bus. My nephew has autism. I teach and advocate for my special needs kiddos. Here's the thing. When you go on Instagram and you're doing a live, or if you post a video, unless you turn the comments off, then the intention is to have a two-way conversation with people that might not be in your echo chamber, and they are entitled to share their own stories. They're entitled to share their feelings. And this has been a long-running issue with Katie, so I know it's not breaking news to any of you guys, but for her, it's constantly how can I make sure that this conversation is only me sharing my opinions, me receiving the praise from the people that are watching, nobody else in the comments sharing anything about themselves, nobody giving me unsolicited advice that I'm not asking for. I just want to talk to people and receive praise.
And let me vent without making this about you. And how about you just listen without getting defensive and saying things like, don't throw an entire profession under the bus.
I don't think that was being defensive. I think that was her sharing her opinion. But are we surprised? No.
What does this have to do with you, Terry? You could have just said, I understand. Where did I throw an entire profession under the bus? I'm sharing my frustrations.
And that's the thing. This is such a long-standing issue with her. It's constantly me. Same thing. Now, if I go on a live stream and I'm telling you guys something about my day, and it's something that's really important and might be causing some stress or grief in my life, if I tell that to you guys, that's not me telling it to you guys to still make it all about me. It's so that we can have a healthy conversation about this topic and maybe other topics that come up as a product of what I brought up. It's supposed to be a fluid conversation. What is the point of even having subscribers if you're not ever going to allow them to tell you how they're feeling?
God, people are so insensitive and make everything about themselves. That's another thing that drives me crazy.
No, you make everything about yourself. That's the problem.
About online. You can't even share without people being so selfish that they literally make everything about themselves when someone's literally just sharing their frustration.
She's the biggest hypocrite. I don't think that her hypocrisies will ever get any better. I don't think they're ever going to go away. I think that they're going to get worse as her audience grows, because with someone like her, when her audience grows, her ego grows. And we've seen that over time. She is still the same person who is me. Don't share anything about yourself because I didn't ask. I just want people to give me praise and listen to what I have to say.
When you say shit like that, it's like people don't want to open up. Why would I share anymore if I can't even honestly express how I feel sometimes, where this is how I'm feeling? Relating is not telling someone that you're a terrible person and you're throwing all the teachers under the bus. Like, dude, I know that there's good teachers out there. And it doesn't change the fact that, oh, you have a nephew that's autistic, great. Like, you aren't living this life every day. You're not a parent of a child with special needs. You don't get it. It's like so easy to seriously like say that you're a teacher.
That's a really good point. This channel, All Things Sassy, she put text on the screen. I'm sure you guys saw it, but that's a good point. Just because someone says that their nephew or family member or friend is going through something, Katie automatically discounts it because it's not their child. But you never know what kind of living arrangement someone has. It could be a family friend who is residing with you and you are the main caretaker for that individual. So let's stop discounting what other people are comfortable sharing. Just allow them to share it. Give a little bit of compassion. If you give your subscribers or followers the compassion when they feel comfortable sharing, they will give it right back to you when you're sharing your story.
And think that you can relate, because you can't. You're not living the life. You're not with the child every day. You don't deal with the frustrations. You're not dealing with the insurance companies. You're not dealing with the advocacy that's nonstop 100% all day.
She doesn't really deal with a whole lot based on what I know, because she has had caretakers, and she's also constantly online and relies a ton on her husband to help out. So let's not act like you are the sole caretaker and you're doing so much, because if you were doing so much, you would not be able to upload to your channel the way that you do. This woman constantly sits in front of her computer. She constantly has her nose in her phone trying to figure out what kind of Duggar, drama she can exploit for the day. And that, to me, based on the proof, is not someone who can be fully present for their child that really needs them. Just my opinion.
No, I spent all day on the phone with the insurance company, Mercy Monroe. All day. That's what I did. All day on the phone with the insurance company. And until a year ago, I handled 100% of everything my son did, because I was, both of us were working, and I took care of everything.
Wow. Well, if my memory serves me correct, that is the responsibility of a parent, is to care, provide, feed, dress your child. That is your responsibility. That is the task that you sign up for when you decide to reproduce. So let's not act like you should be getting an award for doing what you are responsible for doing.
She's so selfish that she had to like literally have a temper tantrum. Like, I understand that there's amazing teachers out there, but there's also not amazing teachers out there. What does it matter if I make a joke calling child's crotch fruits? That's a joke. That's not like being serious. And I didn't call them disease-riddled crotch fruit. You're just adding the disease-ridden part. I said crotch fruit, which is literally a joke. You can't literally and people are just sharing the video like it's nothing. She was just being a brat and wanted to stay with her dad. Part of me thought she was just being bratty. Like, she would just go from crying to fine, from crying. It's like a goblin. It's like calling a kid a goblin. It's a joke.
I don't think that's a joke. If you want to be considered a spokesperson and an advocate for kids and kids that are in dangerous situations and kids that need, safekeeping and they need a voice, then that's not funny. It never was funny. I don't understand the comedic value in that. And if that's something that she finds funny, then Jesus, take the wheel. Let's read this tweet that popped up. It says, I I used to think calling women Karen was funny, but now I'm just seeing it's used to degrade and insult women that have reactions that are seemingly over the top. Why don't we do the same thing to men? It just seems like another way to insult a woman for not being prim and proper. Well, people do call men that have reactions that are over the top, they usually call them Kevins. Kevin and Karen, okay? And to all my Karen and Kevin subscribers, I see you guys. This is not about you guys, but I'm just saying they actually do have that for men. But if I was going to say that one is more insulting than the other, I would say calling children who cannot defend themselves crotch fruits is extremely more distasteful than calling someone a Karen. We're talking about adults versus children here.
Take your Karen ass and get out of here. Bye, Chelsea. You're psycho too.
Okay, so how odd. Right after that, she calls someone a Karen, and then she calls someone a psycho. Let's not, this is something that I've really tried to do as well, is stop labeling people as psycho or schizophrenic or whatever. To throw around accusations like that is just distasteful. It shows that you cannot compose a normal argument. If you're going to be so quick for someone who might not be in your echo chamber to call them psycho, just really goes to show her maturity level for the 5,000th time.
I didn't call it a disease-ridden crotch goblin. Like, they totally added that. Hey, Mercy. It's like I don't talk about him, and then you say I'm neglecting him, and then when I do talk about him, I'm only doing it to serve myself. And I'm not trying to serve myself. Oh.
Well, she kind of is, though, because instead of making this a conversation where other people can share their feelings, it's people are blocked for sharing an opposing opinion, or if it's not an opposing opinion, then you're making it all about you. And guys, remember, this is supposed to be all about Katie. This is Katie's world, and we're just living in it. If you like it, great. If not, then you will be blocked.
Mercy's gone. She can't answer anymore. Crotch goblin is my correct way to say it. Hi, Nina. Oh, Martha. You exist just to hate people.
I think a lot of people would say the same thing about Katie.
I think anyone can be compassionate to a child with autism. Unless you're in the shoes of a parent that's doing it, you just don't understand. That's all I'm trying to say.
And I don't think that you have to be a parent to understand that. I think that, she wanted to empathize with some people, which I know is like a complete new concept for her. If she wanted to empathize just a little bit, then she could have said caregiver, because there's so many people aside from parents that care for people who have autism, people who have Down syndrome, so many things, and a lot of them aren't parents, but caregivers do understand because they're actually doing the work around the clock for their loved ones.
Goodbye, yuppers. You've got a cat profile. You look like a fake account.
I would love to see her block list on Instagram and Twitter. I bet it would be hundreds of pages long.
Oh, she said her son has Down syndrome and autism. That reminds me of this little girl that lives in our community. She has Down syndrome. She is so cute. She's not little anymore, I'm sure. She's probably like 12 now, but oh my gosh, when she was younger, she used to run around our local restaurant and take everyone's order. She was so cute. Oh my god.
Well, that would have been an opportunity to connect with one of your followers that felt comfortable sharing a story about themselves. But instead, you want to talk about your neighbor and, which is fine, but she didn't even take 5 seconds to acknowledge that this person had the comfort level to share something about them and their family.
She would just have her little notepad and take everyone's order at the restaurant, and the restaurant was so sweet to her. She had the biggest smile on her face all the time.
She's so self-centered. It's disgusting. This is why I don't cover her on a normal basis, because I can only consume so much of someone who's so self-serving before it literally makes me nauseous.
I'd rather they not live in my shoes for 5 minutes. I need those. Yeah, me too. You love the crotch fruits? You... It's just hurtful to hear people talk about children that way that are disabled. It's not, children with autism are already like up against such obstacles, and then to like be so cruel to them, it's horrible. Okay, goodbye, Sparkles. You're just trying to get me to talk about that person. You know what the trolls do? They're so stupid. They're so obvious. They'll show up and they'll say something super negative, and then 2 minutes later they'll come back and they'll be like, "Do you watch YouTube?" And then they'll bring up a YouTuber's name to get me to talk about that person, and it's so dumb. And then they'll come back under a different fake account, and then they'll say something antagonistic. It's like they live for this.
There's always some kind of conspiracy with her. Maybe people just don't like you. Did you ever think of that?
Right now I just need my son's medication approved, and it's not being approved, and that's been very frustrating today. Autism is genetic. So generally if one child has autism, it's not uncommon to have multiple children that have autism. It's also not uncommon for a parent to have autism or for there to be autism in the family. My husband and I both have ADHD, and we learned from a neuropsychologist that there's been some studies and work that's been done lately to see the connection between ADHD and autism, because so many children that have autism also have ADHD, and whether or not ADHD is somehow within that spectrum or not. So I have ADHD too, Hannah. He's been on the medication since he's been born. Well, since he's been 3 months old, and we just changed insurance companies, and it's an extremely expensive medication. It costs $55,000. It costs over $60,000 a year, $5,500 a month, and they don't want to pay it.
Yeah, I really can't stand when, any parent does this, but Katie is definitely not excluded from this group when parents share diagnoses and medical information and medical kind of obstacles. All of that needs to be offline. And she has said in the past that she's not going to talk about that, but you literally cannot take a word that she says at face value, whether that's about herself or one of the topics that she's covering on her channel. She is not to be trusted, and her track record shows that. And this is why I say, if you're a subscriber of hers, that's fine. But if I'm consuming commentary content or anything like that that discusses public figures, I at least want to know that I can trust what the person is saying. Bare minimum. And I also want to know that if there's an update or a change, that the person will come back to their channel and say, I got this totally wrong. Here's the updated info. Here's my updated opinion if I have one, and keep it moving. And this is something time and time again that she's unable to do. But the sharing of medical information is detrimental to her child. I really wish there was something in the YouTube terms of service that would stop parents from discussing their children's medical diagnoses, at least until they're the age of 16 or 17, and they can be present in the video and give some form of consent. I know 17 versus 18 is not that big of a deal. Technically 17 is still a minor, but when we're talking about these really young kids that are having their entire medical history vlogged and shown all over YouTube before they even know what a vlog is extremely scary.
You're lying. It is genetic. Literally, it's genetic. Autism is not caused by the environment.
She loves to tell people that they're wrong. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. Neither is she, but she loves to tell people how wrong they are and how she knows it all and nobody else knows what she knows.
Yes, $5,500 for a 30-day supply. This medication is actually very expensive to make because it's extremely unstable. It's like one of the most expensive medications because of how unstable and how it's just not easy to make. It's not one of those drugs that's like marked up because they can mark it up. It's marked up because it's the chemicals and whatever they use to make it. It's hard to make. You can't get it from cost plus drugs. This is not a medication that you can find on. It's just not. You can't. It's a special. It's a specialty drug. Like you can't get it online. They have to do a lot of. It's not even just the research too, but the way that the drugs are made and the ingredients that they have to use and how long it takes for the ingredients to be ready to be put into the drug. It's just huge the amount of time it takes. It's not a compound drug. It's a specialty injection. We do have compound drugs, but compound drugs are different.
Someone said in the comments, not a compound pharmacy, a specialty pharmacy, and she's still going off about compound pharmacy. Like,
autism is genetic stupidity is taught, yeah. Like the people that want to say autism is... I'm not going to answer any more questions about what the medication is because I feel like you guys are just asking questions so that I'll tell you what it is, and I don't want to tell you purposely.
Well, then why even talk about it for as long as you did? What is the point?
This medication is it's a hormonal medication, but it does help his heart. It helps a lot of things. He needs it for a lot of things.
So after she said she wasn't going to talk about it, she keeps talking about it.
Essential oils are not going to help him. So that's a bizarre thing to like.
I mean, that's one thing I will say I agree with her on. I don't agree with her on many things, if anything at all, but this one thing. When you have medical diagnoses, so many of the oily, sales MLM huns will swoop in and try to give you, this blend will help and I promise it helped my neighbor's child, and they will give you all the promises in the book. No essential oil in a diffuser or anything like that is going to help most serious medical conditions. Can it help with relaxation and things like that? Absolutely. But as far as it being sold as some kind of cure-all, I think is disgusting. And so I will say that's the one thing that I agree with her on is the essential oils are no.
I'm not answering questions of what the medication is for. All I'm saying is we can't get it approved, okay? Please respect.
She already gave details about it. Why are we still talking about it? Why? This is the thing. This could have been cut off immediately by her saying, I'm not going to talk about my son at all, period. None of this belongs on YouTube.
My son has more than autism. Like, it's literally none of your business. All I was trying to say is we have a medication we're trying to get approved. It's none of your business what it's for. It's none of your business what it is. It's his business.
None of your business, but I'm going to share his diagnoses and issues and struggles that we go through, but it's none of your business. His business that I'm spreading all over Instagram and YouTube whenever I feel like it. Someone in the comments said Katie is an awesome mom. Do you live with her? Do you know her personally? Like, do you go over there a few nights a week and check in to see how she interacts with her child and all the great things that she's doing? Because based on what I've seen, I would have to disagree. Okay, so rant away. Get upset that people are asking questions about something that you decided to talk about, even though it's nobody's business. How funny that some things just never change with this woman. Either way, I don't agree with this, and I don't agree with it from anyone. It doesn't have anything to do with the fact that it's without a crystal ball. It doesn't have anything to do with if it's a family vlogger. If you are an adult on YouTube and you have a very young child who has no clue what social media is, they don't know what a YouTube is, they don't know about any of this stuff, for you to take their diagnoses, their medications, struggles that they might go through, physical health, mental health, emotional health concerns that you're trying to address with medical professionals, none of that belongs online. It just doesn't. Once the child becomes, a certain age where they can start to understand, a general concept of what social media is and what a vlog is, usually by the time they're 16 or 17, they start to get to that point. Then that can be a conversation. Like, do you want to share your story? If so, you can have my platform to talk about it, or I can be there with you. That's something completely different. We're talking about very young children here, and kids should be protected at all costs. And any parent that puts out their child's medical, issues onto a public platform is not protecting their child. And that is, in fact, the number one role as a parent. You are there to protect your child. You are there to provide for them, not whine and cry that you have to do all these things. That is your responsibility. That is what you signed up for, period. So either way, I think today's going to be a 2 upload day. I'm going to try to get this up for you guys. So for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.